Hi everyone. First off, just want to say sorry about the video quality. I'm gonna be kind of reading off this Word document just to get across my story and what I went through the past couple of months. But I did look into ways of how to make the video more interesting. But I realized it was taking up way too much time, as all I wanted to do was get my story across for everyone out there who's struggling with anxiety, intrusive thoughts, OCD, reliving the past traumatic events, or PTSD and the panic attacks that go along with it. So I'm going to try and make this video as short and simple as possible, explaining my story. If you're like me, you've probably tried everything to get rid of these symptoms, such as through meditation, prayer, mindfulness, speaking to a therapist, reading multiple articles on the topic, but deep down you know nothing was working for you. The thoughts were still there day in and day out. And if you were like me, you've been avoiding all of your friends and never wanted to leave your bed because you were always tired yet couldn't sleep. And when you did sleep, it was never restful, as you probably woke up with nightmares that you had to convince yourself weren't real, and spent legitimate time out of your day thinking about your absurd dream. This video isn't for you to subscribe to anything or trying to make you buy a book or whatever. It is simply to explain my story and what worked for me and what I hope will work for everyone else going through these awful times. Basically, through my childhood into my teenage years and even throughout college, I've never struggled with any of these different symptoms. At least they didn't affect me like they have been for the past 4 months up until my breakthrough. I realized throughout all of this, I kind of always did have a little OCD, as I'd count letters in my head of words. It's pretty hard to explain, but it's irrelevant really. So just moving on. What I did deal with in my life, however, was a lot of loss and family members that struggled with addiction. However, I was always strong when dealing with these things. I was there to talk to family members of a person that passed away and getting my family members into different programs and rehabs for addiction. I'm not going to go over every loss or even get into the different mental addictions my family members face. What I am going to get into, however, is my story and my struggle with anxiety, OCD, intrusive thoughts, panic attacks, and reliving traumatic events. So basically, the first funeral I went to in high school was for a kid I knew. He played football. He wore the number 23. And just keep that in the back of your head real quick. And so that was about 8 years ago. And a little over a year ago, I played in this wiffle ball tournament for my roommate's friend who passed away in a car accident. We were all given these shirts that had on the numbers 23 and the number 9, and it was weird because they had my initials on it. But at that time, the only thing that really stuck out to me was the initials, and I was a bit freaked out by it, but not really, you know. I didn't really think too much about it. It was just like any other thought. Like it came to me and then it left. And then months later, my childhood friend passed away, one of my best friends who I played football with my whole life. And wouldn't you know, he wore the number 9. The shirt at this time was packed away. It meant nothing to me until months later I was going through some stuff and came across it. It freaked me out because the first funeral I went to was for the kid who wore the number 23, and the last funeral was for the kid who wore number 9. And if you remember, my initials were on the shirt. So like at this point, I still didn't really react to it. I just thought about it as strange, and I was logically thinking like, okay, this was just the 9 meant that's how many years it's been since he passed away. The 23 meant that's how old he would have been, and he just happened to have the same initials as me. But however, when I started seeing the shirt more, I thought it had meaning. I thought it meant that I was gonna die on like September 23rd. So I was completely terrified. And then like when August hits is when I really started to become worried that I only had a month left to live. Every day my mind was seeking out numbers and relating them to this sort of countdown to the end of my life type of deal. And like where do you see numbers most often? License plates, clocks. My brain somehow was searching for the numbers everywhere, as if it was torturing me. I thought when this clock was about to turn 9:23 at night, I would try not to look at it, and man, did this minute seem like it lasted forever, eternity. And after 9:23, my anxiety was gone, and I felt a relief, like, oh, thank you, I'm fine. Like, and I believe this is how I really created my obsessive compulsive disorder, throughout this fear. For many of you who have completely different obsessions, try and relate what I was doing to how you do your rituals and how to get rid of anxiety. Believe me, I knew that most likely and like nothing was gonna happen on September 23rd. Like believe me, or when the time turned to 9:23. But I was thinking about it so much, my body wouldn't let me feel peace until it was over. And 9:23 for like as you know, it's pretty late. I wish my stupid brain could have been nicer and maybe stop feeling so tense after like 2:39 in the afternoon. Give me the rest of the day, half day. I can be like freaking out, and then give me the rest of the half. Nope, it always tortured me. And this is what I thought, but it wasn't my brain that wanted to torture me. It was myself and how I reacted to the shirt in a fearful way. And once September 23rd passed, I thought my symptoms would be gone. However, they weren't. Day in and day out, still looking for the numbers and becoming anxious, still waiting for the time to pass. And this went on for months, really. And how did my brain stop thinking about looking for the numbers and becoming anxious? Well, simple. It started creating intrusive thoughts, or unwanted thoughts that I never in my life have ever thought of, or even if I did, I never paid attention to them. I just brushed them off. For instance, I would see a lighter and think, wow, I could burn this house right now. Or I'd see a knife and be like, wow, I could kill someone or myself right now. Like all these weird thoughts, And that's when the craziness started. I'd started thinking, why am I having this thought? I would never do this. No one else has these thoughts. What's going on with me? And why am I thinking so much about my thoughts? Oh, let me think of something better. And I'd try, but I would still be obsessing over these things. And those are just a few examples. I remember I prayed to God one night and wanted God to take me, but I knew he wouldn't. I thought he was making me go through this living hell for the way I've been living, but that wasn't it. I downloaded the Bible, tried reading it, and then on Friday I actually went on to this Bible chat room instead of logging on to like what I was doing the other days, the anxiety, OCD, PTSD chat rooms, which I was usually doing. And I explained my situation to them, what was going on. I told them all about like trying to change my relationship with God and that I don't want to live that way. I was only going to him when something wrong happened in my life or when I needed something. And I know many of you have probably prayed to a higher power and nothing has worked out, or many of you don't want to hear that God cure me, but just hear me out. That's not what I'm really trying to get across. The next day I decided something different. Instead of fighting my intrusive thoughts or trying to not to think about 9:23 or sitting there, it's coming up and trying to think of other things to worry or trying to remember good memories, or basically instead of trying to get my mind off of this, any events I experienced, I kid you not, I decided to like fuel the fire. I decided to just add ammunition to my thoughts. I let my thoughts get crazy as they could think about whatever they wanted instead of trying to suppress them, about memories they wish to relive or any intrusive thoughts. I really let them go, and I was like, forget it, fuck you guys, like have fun. But it was like I was battling the thoughts because I also came up with consciously I was coming up with even more messed up thoughts that were even more intrusive than the intrusive thoughts that I created. So I basically just said, fuck you, intrusive thoughts. You guys think you can control my life? Well, I'm bigger than you. I'm more messed up than you fuckers. I know many of you guys are going to ask what thoughts came to mind, but basically every messed up thought I could think about in that exact moment where I was, and every bad thing that could have happened or that I could have done. And minutes into doing this, and I kid you not, before the time 9:23 came, I felt this instant curing feeling, almost as if I rewired my brain. It was as if I scared off the anxiety, the intrusive thoughts, and power of these obsessions which I created and let control me for so long. And basically, with OCD and experience a traumatic event, I believe we react to a situation in which our brain either knows we feel safe or not. And it's just like the situation you're in now. Who's to say it's safe? And like, who's to say it's not? Who's to say it's not dangerous, or any other situation you've experienced? And it's just like the way we respond to the trauma. I saw this in another video, but our brain isn't trying to harm us, it's trying to protect us. And I was fearful of all of these things. And my brain was trying to come up with something else to get me out of this loop, but I just couldn't shake it. And I want you guys to know the feeling I felt was like any other. It was so calming, and finally my own thoughts, my conscious thoughts came back. And days later I found myself still looking at numbers and like thinking about the thoughts consciously and thinking about memories, but it's really been me consciously doing it again. It's been like my thoughts. I've been thinking about all of my memories again. Like every other memory that I've ever had, like that I can think of, I've just been thinking. And I haven't, since last Saturday, I haven't had any anxiety, OCD, intrusive thoughts. They've been completely mine. And I swear, it's like I scared those fuckers away because I'm more powerful and I am in control. I created it. I fucking scared it away. I got rid of it. I wouldn't wish anyone to go through this, not even an ex-girlfriend or someone I despise or resent. It's torturous. And I know my story is going to be different from many of you. I know my story is going to be different from many of your stories of OCD, intrusive thoughts, panic attacks, anxiety. But what I do wish for is that you guys will be able to use these tools, for instance, with someone with a perfection obsession and trying to calm your anxiety and thoughts by making everything perfect. Instead, expose yourself to those thoughts. Really dive into them and create these crazier, more messed up thoughts than the ones that you're having during your anxiety and like while you're having intrusive thoughts. And it goes for someone with an obsession to wash hands or any other obsessions and rituals that you guys are performing. Like with me, mine was numbers, these stupid freaking numbers, and I would just find relief after the time would pass. I don't know what created it, but it was basically just my fear to it. Basically the point of this video is simply to get across my story and what's helped me. I told myself if I get through this week without any symptoms, I'll post this video with hope for you guys, just to let you know you're not alone. And if you're like me, afraid of the stigma and don't want to tell anyone, maybe my story will help you guys. You guys can reach me by email or leave a comment. I know there are going to be tons of, I don't know if there's going to be tons of negative, but hopefully a lot of positive feedback. And even if this video helps just one person or a million, I pray every night that God will heal everyone going through this. It's not easy, I understand completely, but I know I created these fears and I know how I got rid of them. Hope you guys use the tools of my story to help you compare what my obsessions were and thoughts that I had to yours and how they all relate. And again, I'll pray for every single one of you. If it doesn't help anyone, then I'm sorry, but I had to try and tell my story because even if it helps one person or a million, I want to know I at least tried. Thank you and good luck with everything. This is my first video, so I am very sorry about the quality, but I know it's just a Microsoft Word document. I just really want to get my story out, and basically the point of my story is to create worse thoughts than the ones you're allowing control you. Show your thoughts your boss. Gain control. Show them you're in control. I really hope this works for everyone going through anything. And if you'd like to talk to me, you can shoot me an email or I'll try replying in the comments, okay? Thank you very much and have a good weekend, everyone.